nothing against Ramona. I find her in the hierarchy of people, at least she is authentically, like when I watched her at Luann's party, like a stalker, and I observed her. Now, I didn't want to speak to her. At one point, she came over and she's like, "Can one of you guys take a picture of me?" Just threw the camera at us. I said to my friend, "You got this one, buddy." He doesn't know a Ramona from a Sonia. I'm like, you got this one, buddy. Uh I have nothing against her. I just don't know. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, she clearly recognized me at this party. I just don't know. It's like it would have been somewhat weird. I mean, I haven't said the nicest things about her, but I really, in the hierarchy of things, she's not she's not even in the top 25 of most offensive people that would probably like me to be hit by a moving bus. So it would have been fine. It's just more like I started hyperventilating of like, I wasn't prepared for this type of day. I mean, it didn't happen, thank God, but could you imagine this?
I mean, yeah, I could. Like, if I ran into Bethany, it'd be awkward. I mean, I don't think Bethany even knows who I am or cares. Or actually, I wouldn't be awkward. I just wouldn't even. I don't care. I
That's why
don't.
I didn't
Andy,
speak to her at the.
Andy's like Andy. I know they used to be best of friends, so maybe it would be awkward because it would be like you and me, right? After years of fame and fortune, and then we don't. Then we hate one another. So
Well, like Margaret and Jackie, they were friends.
yeah. Can I just say right now with this lighting, you almost look like a superhero. Like your eyes look like they're.
I gotta. I mean, do you want me to like it's like it's coming in from it's sunny. This is why my place here gets a lot of sun. I mean, this is why
That's awesome. You actually look
I
like you're in a Marvel movie right now, and you're wearing red. It's almost as though you're, I don't know, the
I
enemy of
apologize
Iron
to
Man.
everybody who is
This guy.
watching this on YouTube. It really is, the sun is setting in the Hamptons here today.
I know.
So that's it. I think it's interesting. Bethany is she was salivating, couldn't wait for that picture with Luann. We all know how that went. I mean, let me put it this way. She knows better. She wouldn't go speak to Andy like, let's get her a picture. Like, she's got to know better than that, I would think. Girl, that ship has sailed. But there you go. What else would you like to talk about here
Well, we can do some
today?
rapid fire other Jersey dirt.
Let's do it.
This was part of the, I guess, finale anyway of RHONJ, but food is preggers. Fourth,
Pregnant.
fourth child for them.
Rachel Foot is new news. Woo. Well,
I
new
always I
news from
never
last week or whatever. Go on.
is Fuda in her 20s, 30s? I never can gauge these women's age.
32. Young woman. Young woman. Yeah. This is what I'm saying. You called me out when we were talking about Dorinda's new show and the Snowbirds and the dating show. And I said, Miss Fraser, thank you for correcting me. But what I meant is with housewives, any new housewife they pick, I'm telling you, they're going to be in their 30s or 40s, except for rare situations like Jenna Lyons, who's 55.
What do you
So
make?
there you go.
You and I are podcast experts. Oh, geez. Top podcasters. What do you make of Jackie Goldschneider now going solo with her podcast and getting rid of Jen Feaster?
Jen Fessler. Well,
Sorry.
listen,
No, come on. Don't hold back.
well,
Don't hold
no, I
back.
mean, Jen Fessler has, after the season, she has been unfollowed by Jennifer and Teresa. And so therefore, she has chosen basically Margaret and Melissa. And we all know that Jackie is now friends, I guess, for lack of a better word, with Teresa and Jennifer. So it makes sense to me. They're on different sides. I don't think there needs to be sides. I don't think there needs to be sides in New Jersey. I think that's the whole problem with the damn show. Um, I think that's the whole problem with the damn show, and it makes sense. And I mean, could you imagine the podcast lasted for 2 seconds? Like, as you and I both know, I mean, let me tell you, because I fucking have learned the on the side in a way, but let's just face it, don't ever do a podcast with a co-host.
I,
Ever.
Look, I've been there as well. No, I've had amazing co-hosts that have gone on to, by the way, my former co-host with you on your Patreon, Andrea Lopez, who I adore.
Oh, yes.
She and I always went into it. She co-hosted with me when the podcast was called Hey Frage, and then I rebranded. But we always went into our partnership. She was with me for about 3 years, as that she would leave because she's always wanted to be an impressionist and comedian. So I built it that way. But I'm with you. I would never. If I did a separate podcast, kind of like you're doing with Bravo Bench, maybe that, where you
That's
almost
fine.
and you've got a network behind you and you're kind of it's brought to the table that way. But your own show, no, I would never either again. And again, I've had amazing Paul Wharton, who he was on the first season of Real Housewives of DC. Sammy Kay, who's a legendary radio personality, and now he's the CEO of Snacklands. He was the first one on my podcast. But it's very hard to make money to people, and it's very hard to having a co-host is very, very challenging in the podcast space. Yeah, it just is. So I'm with you. No, it's too bad because Jackie and Jen, I think, could have brought together two different sides.
I
But
like them both. I like Jackie and I like Jen Fessler. I really do. I like them both.
I don't think this is good news though for Jen's podcast because she's doing a rebrand, trying to get away a little bit from
You
talking
mean
about
Jackie's new one? Yeah. Look, I feel, yes, I saw the press release or whatever Jackie put out, and I guess Jennifer Fessler's not going to have a podcast now. I just feel that anytime your house, I mean, no offense to her, but look at Vicky's new podcast. I mean, Vicky does not want to talk housewives, period, the end. That is why we didn't go with her for Bravo Bench. She wants to talk about financial advice, women's health, women's issues, kumbaya, strong women in the workplace. And there are podcasts out there for that. And I welcome everyone to go listen. Nobody really wants that from a housewife. If Vicky would shut her mouth and she would turn on the microphone and she would recap, she has the easiest job possible. If she would just recap each week what she is watching on RHOC, I think her podcast would be, well, it would certainly be doing a lot better than it is. So I wish Jackie luck. But if she's going to talk about this other stuff, I mean, the thing is, when you tune into a podcast about like women's reproductive rights, or I mean, there's actual specialists that you want to hear, right? Although I have to say, listening to Shannon Doherty's podcast, when she would talk about 90210 and Charmed, when she talked about cancer and she had her doctors on, I was all in. I mean, because it was very authentic. And I learned a lot about cancer through Shannon, to be honest with you. Really, I did, to be completely honest.
well,
But
maybe there's a place for it. I just think it's
maybe, but has it
really
ever
hard.
worked before? Like, I'm just saying, like,